better not have no plans tonight.
Movie time and it's feeling right.
You're looking for a love that lasts. You'll find it at Romancing the Podcast. Ooh, ooh, baby, you had me at hello. Ooh, I love you.
I know.
Ooh, ooh, baby, you're the wind beneath my wings. Ooh, ah, I'll have what she's having.
I wish I had been recording for that.
Recording.
But Paige, like I was saying before, this one's going to get weird.
Well, thank you for tuning into Romancing the Pod. You had us at hello. I'm Paige Wesley.
And I'm Todd, which means... Wait.
You don't get to know my last name.
Yeah, hang on. I was doing the horror virgin one. Shoot, my bad. And I'm Todd Schlosser, and this week, Paige made us watch Penelope. So, Paige, was this the first time you saw Penelope?
No. I saw this when it came out.
Ooh, nice. Okay.
And was obsessed with it for a time.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I could see that.
Yeah, right.
Natalie owns this on DVD. Like it's a movie she loves. Yeah.
I do as well. I feel like if you are a woman who has had self-esteem issues.
A terrible mother.
Or, hey, I had a great mother and I still have this on DVD.
Oh, I think society very much does what her mother does to her.
Yes.
Yes. Yeah, you don't have to have a terrible mother to have this. I get it.
Right. If someone implied to you that people would not love you because of your appearance, you own this movie. And if you don't, you should. Why not? But I hadn't watched it in probably 20 years or close to that.
Yeah.
And I was not sure it was going to hold up. And it mostly holds up.
I think it does a good job of holding up, although I did not see it when it first came out. This was my first experience with Penelope.
Sure.
And I hated so much in it until like the turn at the end when everything's okay. But largely just because Catherine O'Hara is, I don't know, one of the best people in anything ever. But because of that, you really hate her in this movie.
Yes, she's great.
Even after she has the I learned and I should have been just like your mom and just like loved you. Even after that moment when she's like, but we can still fix your nose. I was like, damn it. Why is she always honestly, she's just the best, but she's the best villain in this movie. And I do think that because of the Rapunzel of it all,
right,
she has to be the stand-in for like society at large, you know, like because she's not really going out into society. So I get it from a story standpoint why she has to be so bad, but like,
right,
she's bad.
She's bad. She's a real 90s society mom.
Oh, yeah.
I have a wonderful mother. And like, there are still occasions that I can remember of like things that she said just trying to help that I was like, oh no. And now as adults, that would never happen. But like, it was a bad time to not look the way society wanted you to look from like, I don't know, forever until current. And so...
Yeah, it's still not great.
Very applicable.
Yeah. I do think the style changed a lot for what was, quote, attractive.
Yes.
And that is what has shifted more than, like, people are more accepting.
Correct.
Like, I find that people are still kind of very shallow. And I mean, if you watch, Paige, you and I watch a lot of trash reality TV shows. Like,
100%.
You know this already.
This is basically Love is Blind.
Oh, Paige, yes.
I have, like, a Love is Blind TED Talk for the middle of this movie.
Paige, the whole time I was like, when is Lachey going to walk out and just start to ruin people's lives? Because, like, it's straight up Love is Blind. It's like a mirror,
right?
And they're falling in love between it. Yeah, the first act of this is Love is Blind.
Love is Blind. And I did not remember that part of I did not remember a lot of this movie. And then as I was like, oh my God, yeah, that's right. Peter Dinklage is in this. Like, I couldn't remember the end. I was like, how do they bring this in for a landing that I didn't hate it? Like, what? They thread a very tight needle.
It did. I would say it did. And I do kind of love the way it comes back around. And they do sort of tell the right lessons and teach the right lessons. In my opinion, you know, like, it isn't a man will come and save you from yourself or whatever. It's like, I just have to learn to love me.
Right.
And that lifts the, quote, curse. I think it would have been just as good as if, like,
the curse stayed.
The nose never went away.
Yes.
You know?
Yeah. The one thing I do like about the nose going away is that it actually shows her being nostalgic for it.
Yeah.
And I think that's actually really great and interesting.
Man, if after James McAvoy kissed her at the end and he's like, take the mask off or whatever, and she took it off, he was like, oh.
Oh, no.
Oh, great.
So there is another movie at this time that we have not done that maybe we should, honestly.
Yeah.
That I have similar feelings about the end, and that is the classic Shrek. Where I actually kind of wish that Fiona stayed an ogre the whole time.
Yeah.
But then I saw Shrek 2, where they made Shrek kind of like a beefy shouldered human. And I was like, wait, I'm kind of into this too. But yeah, I feel like whenever you're dealing with body image in a movie, it is tough because like there is a part where it's like, because you want people to learn to love themselves, you kind of want them to stay. But I think this movie does a great job of, hey, you have to learn to love yourself no matter what yourself is.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Like when it changes, when it doesn't, you know.
If it had had that ending where she looks exactly the same, but now everyone in
I would've loved
society
it.
kind of sees her as beautiful as that person,
Here for it.
that would just be what I would call, oh, this is like secular Johnny lingo, which is a joke for all my Mormons or ex-Mormons out there.
Yeah, I have no idea what that is, but okay.
Quickly, it's very problematic, but
Tell me everything.
it is just like a guy who purchases a bride for way more than she's worth in cows.
Oh my God, what?
And then her tribe sees her as like this beautiful thing when once it was, wow, isn't she so ugly? So that was my 15-second explanation for this entirely problematic
I'm sorry,
episode.
What?
But like,
No.
yes,
No.
Paige, yeah,
What?
no. If you want to know more about Johnny Lingo, listen to the God Awful Movies podcast episode on it because I'm sure they've done it.
Okay, I'll have to look it up because that's...
Whatever you do, don't watch it. Like, please, God, don't watch
God, I
it.
feel like I have to, but I'd have to scream.
You will have to scream.
I mean, I spent all weekend, my parents were here, and made them watch both Weapons and Barbarian.
Wow, you are like the meanest child. Yeah, please go on. Go on.
They loved him. But watching them back to back, I actually think I prefer Weapons now that I've watched it a number of times. But also B,
Yeah, I do too.
there is no better way to watch Barbarian than with my mother, who upon the woman being like, oh no, there's someone in my Airbnb, my mom was like, no, no.
Yeah, your mom's just smart.
No. And then like every 10 seconds, like she goes to like go down in the basement. My mom was like, no, don't go in there. Like the whole time. It was pretty great.
I thought it was pretty great
It
too.
was great.
Yeah.
But I feel similarly about what you just told me about this Johnny Lingo person, where every piece that you slowly revealed, I was like, worse?
Yeah.
Worse? How's it getting worse?
It's terrible. I think the movie was made in the 70s. And if you know much about Mormonism in the 70s,
Sure,
it's
I
not
do,
super
yeah.
surprising. But guys, like, we gotta move on.
We're lucky it was just ugly and not racist.
My big takeaway in that movie was she was hot the whole time, guys. Like, I have eyes.
Oh.
It is what it is. She's always been hot. I wish I remember that character's name, who they treat terribly in the movie.
It's just reminding me of that song, that if you want to be happy for the rest of your life, never make a pretty woman your wife. So from my personal point of view, get an ugly girl to marry you. But then the rest of that song is like, she'll be such a good cook. Like it's... Oh, God, our society is awful.
Yeah, I mean, it's always been bad. Like, I'm not disagreeing at all. And I don't necessarily think it's a whole lot better than it was in the 90s. I just think the standard of what is beautiful changed.
True.
And allows for more hips.
I mean, thankfully.
In the 90s, it was like if you were a size 0, you were too big. It was like so skinny was the goal, you know?
You couldn't even find clothes. It was rough.
Yeah.
And to corroborate your insistence that today is not any different, I commented on something that somebody posted on Threads where they were mentioning something about Charlie Kirk and saying he had uppercase gums.
As someone who has uppercase gums, rude.
Well, and my only comment below it, neither pro nor con, was just all caps, uppercase gums with exclamation points. And then some stranger commented below me and was like, well, yeah, you got an uppercase body. And I wanted to be mad, but I was like, yeah.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah.
That's fair. That's fair.
It's good to know who you are. So when like people try to attack you with it, you're just like, yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
That's me.
Yeah, I did block him because I figured he was probably a bot, but I was like, he ain't wrong.
He ain't wrong, guys.
I'm an upmarket woman and I am not ashamed of that.
Paige, I have a question for you.
Yes.
I don't know how to ask it in a appropriate way, so I'm just going to come out with it.
Cool. Let's do it.
Why didn't Penelope's mom just make up the same lie that Mary did and just be like, God gave me the pig baby? Like, I don't understand why you wouldn't just be honest. Like, yeah, okay, I had sex with a pig and this is why I'm sorry. But like, like you had to make up this whole mythos around like, yeah, like just be honest.
Can I tell you, when you started this bit, I misunderstood what you were going for, where I thought you meant she would just lie and that would mean the curse wouldn't apply. But no, to reiterate, you mean there was no curse ever. This lady had a loving, long-term relationship with a pig.
I don't know if it was long-term.
And this is the result of their well, long enough. This is a result of their union.
She got corkscrewed. It was long enough to get corkscrewed.
I think ducks are the only ones that have corkscrew penises and pigs just have corkscrew tails.
Paige.
Who's to say? I don't know.
The thing is,
I'm not Catherine O'Hara.
the tail and the pig dong is connected. So they
What?
it's one long corkscrew.
Oh my God, like a tornado potato.
None of that is accurate. Please do not ever think I'm being serious. But yes, I guess my question was like, yeah, maybe it's better that Penelope's mom in this movie did not spawn a whole pig-based religion
Right.
based on swine intervention or whatever. But like,
The swine intervention.
I thought it was very funny that like she clearly just had sex with a pig, but then it's revealed she didn't, guys. And I was like, oh, I guess.
No, she didn't.
I guess that's not possible. But I do know pigs are one of the animals that they use for like temporary organ implants
Yes.
to keep someone alive for short periods of time. So I was like, maybe we could. I don't know. At least in this heightened fantasy, we could. You know what I'm saying? Like this all is very heightened.
Pigs are also one of the smartest animals.
Tell me about it.
It's pretty fucked up that we eat them.
Paige, I watched this on Tubi and we got ads.
Yes.
You know, every fucking 15 minutes or whatever, which is fine. I got to watch it for free. That's great.
Sure.
Yeah, and I could have just walked upstairs, grabbed the DVD and put that in, but no, I'm too lazy for all that. I apologize. But I got like 6 bacon commercials during this movie, and every time I was like,
no.
rude, Oscar Mayer, this is the wrong place to put a bacon commercial.
When we first started the Zoom call, I was ordering a bagel on my phone and I was like, egg, cheese, turkey, bacon.
Yeah, I did the same thing when we watched Babe. Which we haven't done that episode. Don't look for it.
And admittedly, I love turkey bacon regardless.
Natalie eats a lot of turkey bacon, so I end up eating some too just because, you know, I just pick up
I
stuff.
kind of enjoy it.
And it's good. Yeah, it's fine. It's great.
It tastes more like beef jerky, and I mean that as a positive, like that's a compliment.
Yeah, I think that's fair. But Paige, like, to be honest with you, when you first see it, like, I was kind of blown away with like what it looked like because it was like so present. It like pulls your eye in every scene for sure. So like,
absolutely.
it doesn't totally match the rest of the face, obviously, because, you know, but I get why potential partners might find it distracting though. You know, like,
Of course.
I don't know. The blend feels off. The shape keeps shifting in every shot. I don't know. It just sits on top of the face. I don't know, but I feel like an easy fix for like the ugly thing in this movie is just like make James McAvoy shave his face. Like he doesn't need to be harvesting all that peach fuzz. You know what I'm saying?
See, I'm more upset by the haircut.
As someone who wishes they could have that haircut, Paige, rude. Honestly, I thought Christina Ricci with the pig nose looks better than James McAvoy does with the peach fuzz.
Hungover, and yeah.
Yes.
Let me ask you this. What is your preferred James McAvoy from an attractiveness scale?
I don't really have an attractiveness scale, but I will say the James McAvoy that I love the most, just because it's the first thing I ever saw him in. And I literally said to my brother, who was watching it with me, oh, that guy's going to be a British Tom Cruise one day. And it was the sci-fi original miniseries, Children of Dune.
What? Oh, God. Okay. All right.
That's the kind of nerd I am. He was really young at the time. But I was like, man, this guy's really good. I don't really have like a hotness scale, but I will think if I had to guess what I think most people, oh, Paige, this might be good. Do you have a James McAvoy hotness scale?
I do, yes.
Okay. Can I guess which movie
Please
you think
guess
he's
it.
the hottest in?
Let's hear it.
Obviously Split when he's hulked out. clearly that, right?
Hey, there are some people that split is their James McAvoy hotness scale, and we love that for them and appreciate their unique view on that movie.
Can I guess what I think most people's is? Or let me just say it this way. What I hope most people's is, because I think this is what if I could ever look as attractive as a James McAvoy, would hope to look like.
Sure.
And that is him in the movie Wanted.
See, that's my second place one, because I do love him in Wanted.
Yeah.
And Wanted is one of those bonkers movies that like everyone loved at the time. And then now when you try to explain it to somebody who hasn't seen it, you're like, oh no, this is dumb as fuck.
I don't know, man. I feel like
no sense.
I feel like it makes total sense, Paige. Like he just learns how to take like Adderall with his ADHD brain and it gives him superpowers. Like we all know what's going on in that movie.
You mean how he learns to curve a bullet because a piece of fabric told him so? Sure.
Oh no, Paige, the curving of the bullet stuff is cool as shit. It is cool as shit. It's very implausible, but like it's a movie.
That's why everybody loved it. Yeah.
But like the fact that they're getting their hit list from a loom, I found hilarious. Like it was so silly. But yeah, whatever. It's from
the loom of destiny.
It's from the comic book or whatever. Anyway,
right.
We're like tangents deep on this. We gotta pull it back to the top.
My number one is Atonement. I think he's very attractive in Atonement.
Yeah, it's because he doesn't exist.
No, he exists. He just led a very unhappy life, and his happy ending doesn't exist except in that little selfish bitch of a girl's book.
Right. Man, I hated that movie. But Paige, I do think it's crazy that they think she's so unattractive with the pig nose. Like I've seen way worse noses in real life.
Correct.
That are like, a little crooked, more bulbous, and look like they could suck in a lot of air, but really it's mainly like sucking air through a wet straw. And I can see that anytime I look in the mirror. So, like, I don't think she's that unattractive as Christina Ricci with the pig nose.
I agree with you. And I feel like this is a thing that this movie doesn't tackle it. This movie is only 96 minutes long and we can only cover so much. But I think part of dismantling the structures of societal beauty standards in your life, one of the side effects of that is that you start to look at people that other people say are attractive and question whether you think they are attractive or just thin. In my case.
Well, Paige, like that's a thing for, I think, guys too, when they're like assessing who they find attractive, right? It's not just like who society thinks they're attractive, but like you're told to find who society thinks is attractive.
Right.
And sometimes you just don't.
No, 100%.
Yeah.
100%. I have never once found Matthew McConaughey attractive. That's okay. He's for somebody else. That's fine.
Yeah.
But like, it's one of those things where like, even to do it with like somebody wearing an outfit, I'm like, is that a good outfit or is she thin? And like to try and break that in your brain.
Yeah.
But I feel like that's the next part of this movie of like, is everyone prettier than her or do they just have human noses? Right? Like, is that the difference? And because I honestly, after a while watching the movie, because the makeup is pretty good in this, I would say.
It is. Yeah. When I was talking about the blend being off and stuff like that was about James McAvoy's beard.
Absolutely.
Yeah, if you can call it that.
If you could call it that. It's more like a 3:35 p.m. shadow.
It looks like his dad shaved a beard yesterday and he pasted it on his face this morning with like a stick of super glue.
Like a glue stick?
Yeah, and like patting it on his face and then went to the date.
Well, do you ever use an electric razor? You know when you have to clean it out and dump the little shavings?
Yes, 100% that, yes. Having done that pretty recently and then pop the top off so you can clean it and then making the dumb mistake of getting really close and blowing on it and then having my own hair hit me right in the eyeball. Man, yes, I understand exactly what you're saying, and you're right. He does look like that.
Yes, yeah. This is a visceral childhood memory of my dad who uses an electric razor and has pretty much his whole life versus my husband who does not, and finding a bunch of those in the sink. And I feel like it looks like if James McAvoy just rolled his head around in the sink. But for her nose, the makeup is so good that it suits her face in a weird way. Where you kind of start to look at her and you're like, it's kind of cute. Yeah. Like, I don't know. Like, it's a different vibe. I honestly think the side profile is very cute. It's almost Whoville levels of cute.
I was going to say, it's almost like Disney, like upturned nose of it all. But it is, I mean, she does not look unattractive.
No.
Like when Edward at the very beginning of the movie sees her and runs out screaming, and then we get like a montage of like 8 dudes jumping through plate glass windows to get away from her. I was like, I don't know, man. She's rich.
Right.
Like, I would roll the dice with that. She seems cool as shit. She's not unattractive. I don't know.
Well, and I think that goes to the James McAvoy of it all once we get into the movie of like, he, I think, sees it that way of like, I don't know, she's kind of cute. Like we've had good conversations. We get along.
Yeah.
I'm surprised by this, but like, it's not a deal breaker. I don't think. He doesn't run, you know?
No.
The people that run, I'm like, what? And this is whenever people talk about, because my biggest complaint with Love is Blind, the reason I don't get into it, I don't really watch is because they don't have fat people on.
Paige,
She was not fat. That was some fucking bullshit.
I don't disagree with what you're saying. I know. I was going to say, and this, I think, reinforces what we're saying about society today.
Yes.
Like, they do have characters that they very much say are large, that are nowhere what I would consider
Not.
fat. Yeah.
No. And the reason they give for not doing it is that they don't want someone to face what happens in this movie of people just running away. And while I understand that, I mean, people would absolutely watch it for that, and that's horrible. It's horrifying that people would watch it wanting to see that. But I also feel like that says more about the person running the fuck away.
It does.
Than it does
100%.
about the other person.
Yeah. And if you think that, like, I think society at large wouldn't be like, whoa, wasn't that gross that they did that? Like, I think that person would get kind of a villain edit in that season.
Right.
Which would be what we're saying right now is like, would also be devastating for the person who got run away from.
Yes.
And so, like, I understand why they don't want to put someone through that moment. But I do think if that ever happened, and God, I hope, but society at large would be like, oh, there was nothing wrong with that person.
Right.
There's something wrong with the person who ran away. And then that's a message I think society at large could stand to get reinforced, you know?
And here's the thing. Let me play devil's advocate for a second.
Sure.
Not everybody is for everybody.
Right.
Various people are attracted to various things. And that is fine. People's brains work differently. Like, breaking down societal norms means making it okay for people to be attracted to the adult consenting people that they are attracted to, right?
Yes.
And like, that's, I guess, part of the problem with Love is Blind is like, do I wish people could get to know people without seeing them? Yes, I actually do think that's a very valuable part of it. But when they're all conventionally attracted, that undercuts the experiment. But like, I also don't super blame somebody if they like get to know somebody and then all of a sudden they're like, oh no, it's just not there. The chemistry in person is not there. I don't love it.
Yeah.
We shouldn't stay together.
Or we should stay close friends because I really like you as a person. Yes.
Yes. And I think part of the problem of the show is that they are forcing them to get married instead of like, hey, we talked for a week. I actually really like you.
Yeah.
Let's talk in person for a bit, right?
Yeah, no, Paige, 100%. I think this movie actually does a really good job of how I think you could be successful having been on that show.
Right.
So, like, you don't end up together and forced into a marriage at the end of the show.
Right.
And you come back and find each other later in life.
Yes,
And then fall in love again, actually. Like, yes, this is the right blueprint for how to find love if you happen to be on that show.
Right. Anyway, do we want to talk about the thing we actually watched?
Yeah, we probably should just go through Penelope scene by scene.
We open on very small amounts of credits. Like, they are there. They're very boring. They're black with text, but it only is a minute or two before we are dumped into Once Upon a Time.
Yeah.
And she basically explains, I have rich parents, so there were cameras when I was born. Like, it is a rich, wealthy family, but unfortunately, family curse, because 5 generations back, one of the men of the family got one of the maids pregnant, wanted to marry her, and they were like, no, that girl, unfortunately, dies by suicide, and her mom, understandably pissed, comes back and curses the family.
Right. Yeah. Real convenient story, guys. That's what happened.
That's what happened.
That's what happened, guys.
Yeah,
For
yeah,
sure.
yeah.
It's swine intervention or whatever.
De swine intervention, yeah. As in de swine, all of them.
All of de
Those
swine,
ones.
yeah.
All of de swine.
I did love that we get like, I wasn't the first daughter born after the curse.
Oh, I love that bit.
Because there was one other girl, but she wasn't one of us. She like the woman who married the guy who was in the family actually had an affair that resulted in that baby. I thought that was very funny.
Yes.
I was like, oh man, this voiceover is like really spilling generational tea.
Yeah. Because it wasn't a, what is their last name? A Wilburn. It was a Jones.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it looks like Jones is like the driver or something like that. Anyway.
He definitely was the driver. Yeah.
Yeah. But we cut to her being born and they lift the baby up and it has pig ears.
It does.
So she has like the face of a pig. But then we immediately cut to the Love is Blind of it all, where she is now an adult woman. And part of the curse was that one of her own has to accept her.
Yeah.
And then the curse would be broken. So she is in her very cool terrarium-filled bedroom that has a two-way interrogation mirror into a library with 300 plus first editions.
Right. The cheapest of which is just under $100,000 or whatever.
No, just under $100.
Oh, that's
a lot
right.
of them are, yeah.
Still insane.
Insane.
Like, okay, they're rich, you know, like they're that kind of rich.
Right.
Yeah.
But this is where we meet Edward for the first time, where he's like, I love you. I totally want to meet you. And so she comes out the door and he takes off running.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, the butler can't catch him.
Well, I do think it implies that the butler eventually caught up to him, or maybe he's the one that got away, but the butler normally catches up to them.
Yes.
Because it's the butler's job to chase them down and get them to sign a very strict, like, NDA,
NDA.
or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah.
Which I thought was very funny, because when we see the butler running after him, even this first time, and they call it out later, but we see his red sneakers.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and we will find out later that butler might not be what he seems, so maybe he let him get away on purpose. Who's to say?
They do definitely reveal the butler's guiding hand started and is resolving this. Yeah.
Yeah. Regardless, he ran, which obviously would feel terrible. And we get the implication that this has been happening for 7 years of people running away from her. That's incredibly hurtful. It's so sad.
Yeah. Since she was like 18, right? So this is like she's 25 or whatever now.
Right.
Yeah.
And her mom, because she's like, hey, I didn't run, Mom. He ran. And her mom is like, no, but he liked you. He just didn't like your nose, but you're not your nose. It's the curse, which is a refrain that is basically like, no, he liked you, but if you just lost a little weight, or no, he liked you, but if you just put on a little bit more makeup, or no, he liked you, but if you just got a different haircut. Like, it is not helpful or healthy or anything to phrase things that way. Because, like, you got to find the person who likes you for you. And also, you got to start as one of the people who likes you for you.
Yeah.
So, and in theory, your mom should also like you for you. What the fuck?
Yeah, and I do think the mom is a huge-ass villain in this movie because of the Rapunzelness of it all. So she has to be like the stand-in for all of society, which from like a story standpoint makes it very clear what's happening and very easy to follow. So I kind of like it, but it makes you really hate her character a lot.
Yeah, for sure. But this is also where we kind of get a little bit of a backtrack to explain their process. Also that they tried to have it removed via plastic surgery and they couldn't because her carotid artery goes through it.
Yeah.
Also, that Peter Dinklage as a reporter tried to get pictures of her as a baby, and unfortunately her mom hit him and I think damaged one of his eyes to the point where he cannot see anymore on that side. So he wears an eye patch.
He says he wants his eye back. I think his eye has been removed.
I think so too.
I think she hit him in the eye with a gavel, honestly, is what it looked like.
Yeah, it's unclear what it is.
She went Law and Order on his face.
Don't.
Yeah.
Yes. But then they fake Penelope's death.
Yeah, that's nuts. Having a daughter so ugly, you have to societally kill her is insane.
That's crazy. Well,
Yes.
and especially considering they're blue bloods and hey, there's a lot of intermarrying, interbreeding, and some of that gene pool pretty shallow.
It gets kind of piggy. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I mean, if you remember from Legally Blonde, when Werner's older brother marries a Vanderbilt, and that woman has an aggressive face. Like, the blue bloods are not the most attractive. You've seen Prince Charles. Like, you know, pig nose is the least of their worries.
Yeah, I've seen 30 Rock. I know what it's like in
Gerhard Habsburg III.
Yeah, I know the Habsburg line. Come on. Paige, I do think had they not been super rich, this would not have been a huge problem. I do think her childhood would have been very difficult and filled with a lot of teasing. But I do think, like, because she would have been forced to not be more or less homeschooled and, like, held as a captive person in her home for 25 years, that, like, society, at least her community around her, would have already have accepted it and she would have grown into. Honestly, she would have been just like a bookish 20-something who was like the funniest comic on the Southern swine circuit.
Yeah.
Until she like skyrocketed to fame with her first stand-up album, Oink Like Me or whatever.
Right.
Like blew up.
Yeah. And to be honest, the swine circuit, pretty great.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm very popular on the swine circuit.
our next comic been touring slaughterhouses and state fairs on the swine circuit. Paige Wesley.
Thank you.
Let me tell you my 7-minute bit about hot dogs.
The slop here is great. Anyway.
Paige, you actually do have like a 7-minute bit about hot dogs that I legit love.
That I can't do anymore because
I
a more
know.
famous comedian did it.
I know.
And like parallel thinking, he did not steal from
Sure,
me, but
yeah.
it was almost exactly the same bit.
That happens a lot. I know. But man, I can't remember. I think you sent me a video to touch up or whatever. And that's when I first heard it. And I was like, oh, this is fucking fire.
Yeah,
Sorry
yeah.
that happened, Paige. I know that's a bummer.
That's all good. There are infinite more jokes to write.
Yeah.
The passion, the tension, the action. Danielle L. Jensen's Saga of the Unfated duology is complete. I know you were waiting for it. And it's ready to be your next great fantasy romance binge. You know I would not steer you wrong when it comes to romantasy books, so you should read Saga of the Unfated. It's a Norse-inspired fantasy romance duology from the best-selling author of the Bridge Kingdom series. Book 1 is A Fate Inked in Blood, perfect for spooky season. You'll fall in love with Freya, who is a shield maiden with a secret gift and a forbidden love for Bjorn. So, a shield maiden blessed by the gods battles to unite a nation under a power-hungry king, all while fighting her growing desire for his fiery son. Pretty sure that's Bjorn. Then, you should experience the epic conclusion to their high-stakes saga in Book 2, A Curse Carved in Bone. I honestly can't think of anything better for spooky season than carving curses in bones. It's like the whole vibe right now. This is also about Freya, who fights to break the shackles of prophecy in this searing conclusion to the Saga of the Unfated romance fantasy duology. That's 2 books. 2 books. You don't even have to wait for a third. 2. 1, 2, done. USA Today calls it captivating and sexy, with a fierce heroine and a smoldering hero. A Fate Inked in Blood is everything you want in a fantasy romance. You know who gave them that quote? Elise Kova, the best-selling author of A Deal with the Elf King. An Elf King. That's the only thing better than an Elf Prince. A Fate Inked in Blood and A Curse Carved in Bone are available now, everywhere books are sold.
But we also see that, like, she couldn't play with other kids. She was basically locked in that room, and that they've hired a manager, a matchmaker.
Yeah, matchmaker.
Who very, I think, deliberately looks like the millionaire matchmaker from the show that was on at the time.
I never watched it, but I believe you.
Woo! That show is a doozy. That show is fucking bonkers.
Nice.
And everyone on it is the villain. Everyone. Like, oh my God. Because here's the thing, real talk.
Welcome back to Real Talk, where Paige gives us real advice.
Do I understand the need to potentially, especially if you have a lot of assets or if you're a very busy career person, to have someone facilitate you meeting people that might meet your interests? Absolutely. Absolutely. I don't have a problem with that. The millionaire matchmaker only dealt with people of a certain tax bracket, right?
Yeah.
Which obviously her services were expensive or whatever. But then the people she would bring in, she had no concern for whether or not they actually got along as people or liked each other or anything. It was just like, these girls are pretty. And it was a parade of like men who had made their money in tech or whatever and who had a fair amount of money and no social skills and refused to learn or like or befriend or even have deep conversations with any woman. They were just like, you, and then maybe you. And then the 1 or 2 times that they had women on, that they were matchmaking for women, these were women who were like titans of their industry, had clawed their way up to the top to make millions. And they did the same thing. Like, it was across the board.
So what you're saying is it's largely a class problem?
Yes.
Yeah, I can
But
see
also
that.
there was one, I just vividly remember one of the women that she had where she had like picked out a few. And oddly enough, she picked more personality hires for the women than she did for men, where she was like, hey, this guy's not a model, but you guys work in kind of the same industry. You might have a lot to talk about. Men, she did not give a fuck. She was just like, bring in the models. But like women, she would like personality hire. And then she also had models, like, so she had both. And there was a guy that like was actually really sweet and would have been like a really good connection. And the girl was like, no, I want the hot guy with a motorcycle. And I was like, all right, girl, have fun.
Good luck.
Millionaire matchmaker.
That's been Real Talk with Paige Wesley.
Real talk about old reality shows. Anyway, this woman looks like that woman, but she is trying to facilitate them finding another blue blood because they believe that's what will break the curse. And this is where we get the montage of dudes running out the window and them getting shatterproof glass and giving sneakers to the butler.
They legit have the perfect freeze frame on the guy slamming into that plexiglass now.
Oh, yeah.
Instead of the breakaway glass. That shit made me laugh.
So good.
Yeah.
So good. But while that's happening, Edward, who ran away that they couldn't catch, Edward Vandermeer, makes it all the way to the police station.
Yeah. He seems to have run screaming the entire way there.
Yeah.
He's still in a hysterical state.
It's like that scene in Mean Girls where she has the burn book and she's just like, ah,
Yes.
do not trust her. This is the most fuggliest slut. It's that.
Yeah.
But he gets to the police station. He's like, with a snout and fangs. And this actor only ever seems to play affluent men who pull weird faces.
Yeah, you could just say he's a famous British who's that,
Yes.
or I know that guy. Yeah, you've seen him in a ton of stuff. I don't know his name off the top of my head. And he's honestly great. He's been in a ton of stuff. His name, I looked him up just now. His name's Simon Woods, and he's fantastic. But he's like in Pride and Prejudice,
Yes.
Penelope. He was Gaius Octavius Caesar in season 2 of Rome. That's where I first saw him.
Oh, shit. Yes. I
Yeah.
remember that.
He's pretty great. And he was blowing up at the time and doesn't really
Yes.
act anymore. And I do not know why.
Because I feel like he's got a very specific type. This is going to sound real mean. I mean it as a compliment. Sometimes we need character actors.
Yeah.
His eyes are just wide set enough apart to be like blue blood. Like, where he's very pale. He's very tight bone structure. Like, that's I want to say in Pride and Prejudice, he was the one that like her sister ends up with, right? And it's like, it's the weird looking rich guy is who it is.
Yeah.
Because even in Rome, he was like sickly and it was like a whole thing. And I just don't know that we've had a ton of those parts available around right now and like whatever. But that's always who he is like that guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, at least when he was acting. It looks like he married his partner and they have 2 daughters and he is a playwright now.
I love that. Good for them.
The reason I like looked it up is because it seems like he was blowing up and could have had a long acting career. And he didn't have like a death date. So I was like, oh, this guy just made enough money and is now doing whatever he wants.
Love that.
And that seems like what he's doing. And I'm super happy for him. That's great.
Love that for him.
Yeah.
Anyway, he goes to the police station. He's like, oh my God, it's a beast with the fangs and the stuff that makes me scared.
It is kind of Beauty and the Beast-ish. Like, it is very like, oh, there's a beast in that castle, right?
Right.
But it's more Rapunzel because it's a girl and her mom won't let her out.
Right, exactly. And the police are like, how about no? Like, what? But a journalist overhears it and is like, was that Edward Vandermeer? I'm going to write a story about him having a nervous breakdown. And it hits the paper.
I did kind of think it was the family slandering the suitors at first.
100%.
And it might be, but I do think that Edward, because of this hit piece on him and his character, needs to find like a Peter Thiel kind of person, and they need to go after this gawker mag. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, man. Boy, have I been listening to the Behind the Bastards on Peter Thiel and oof, mugoof.
Oh, you mean the one on his beliefs about the Antichrist?
Yeah, which I knew, and it ties into like the Zizians and their like AI Antichrist nonsense.
Oh, yeah. It's all cult based.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's like one of the dudes that I'm afraid might actually destroy the world. Like
100%.
that kind of guy. Yeah.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
For his own weird beliefs. Anyway, so it comes out in the paper. Her mom freaks out and is like, we've got to move. And it's like, because it says a terrifying pig girl. Who do you think that is? And it's like, do you think that's any more or less hurtful than people running away? No. But Edward goes back to the essentially journalist and is like, did you say that I saw a pig? I swear she's real.
Yeah.
And who should be walking by? Peter Dinklage, who's like, I know she's real. We just got to get a picture and then we'll clear your name. And then you're not crazy. You're just someone who saw something crazy, and then we'll figure it out.
Right. And there's all this pressure from Edward's dad, who is like a very affluent man, obviously in industry or business on some level. And Edward is supposed to like become chairman of the board one day. And so like he feels like he has to clear his name in order for his dad to allow him to ascend where he wants to.
Right. We cut back to the house where they're trying to find a new batch of blue bloods. And this is where Catherine O'Hara is like, yeah, whatever. And she's like, okay, Max, okay, John, okay, Jack the Ripper, like, you're not paying attention to me. Do you care who marries your daughter? And she's like, no, as long as they can get rid of that nose.
Yeah.
Which is that, like, I don't care if it hurts someone as long as they look pretty. Hate that.
Literally said it's okay for her daughter to marry a renowned murderer.
Right.
As long as it got rid of her nose, which is a crazy take. Yeah, you're right.
Crazy. But essentially, they assemble a group. We then cut to Peter Dinklage and Edward Vandermeer, and he's like, yeah, they only take blue bloods. That's the only way to get back in, and I'm not going back in because I'm scared of the fangs. And they're like, well, we just got to find a down-and-out blue blood, somebody who needs the money,
right,
but is technically a blue blood. So they then do some research. They find Max Campion, who has a gambling problem. So they go to where he's gambling. Someone points to the table, and they come up and greet James McAvoy, who says, yeah, no, that's me. But behind him at the table is Nick Frost, who is too famous to not be somebody in this movie.
Yeah, he's too famous to be in one shot, unless he like produced it. You know, like he's like also working on it and was like, yeah, sure, I'll sit at the table. I don't care. But he's not. So he's definitely coming back later.
Right. And essentially they're like, Max Campion, and James McAvoy is like, you got the wrong guy. And they're like, how about for $5,000? And he's like, you got the right guy. Let's go.
Yeah.
But so he sets up in the van with them. They install a camera into his sleeve, so if he like raises his arm, it'll take a picture.
It's like the most steampunk hidden camera I've ever seen.
Yes.
It's so funny to me because it's like a whole contraption.
Yes. And this movie does have like a visual vibe that it definitely fits in with. So like, yeah. But they essentially get all of the men in the room. He comes in last. He's like, the agency sent me, and they don't question it. They just let him in.
Well, because they don't care. He literally could have been Jack the Ripper as long as he and the agency sent me gives him the cover that they think he's a blue blood.
Right.
And honestly, everyone does. Even the people he's in league with think he's a blue blood too. He's the only one that knows right now.
Right. But the camera starts to malfunction, and so he kind of ducks behind a couch to try and fix it. While that's happening, Penelope comes out, reveals herself to all 12 of the suitors. They all run except him.
Yeah.
Because he didn't see her.
Yeah, he was laying down behind the couch trying to fix the camera.
Yes. And she comes down and has a very like heartfelt conversation with her mom of like, do you understand how this makes me feel?
Well, because her mom was like, why did you reveal your nose immediately? Like, why would you show people who you actually are out of the gate?
Right.
It's like crazy hurtful stuff. And that's why she's saying that. That's why Christina Ricci's character is, or Penelope is like, yeah, it sucks, Mom, to have that happen. Why let myself get at all attached to the people who are going to run away from me when they finally see me?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But they see on the camera that he didn't run. So she goes back in to talk to him, and he is trying to steal her favorite book, we will find out.
Yes.
She tells him which one to steal instead. He doesn't. He doesn't end up stealing any, but they have kind of a fun conversation.
He pretends to steal it and then comes back and like, haha, I gotcha, or whatever. And then he puts Moby Dick. It was Moby Dick.
Yeah.
He puts that back down on the table or whatever. And then she does reveal that she came back after kicking him out and was watching him. And then they have a little cute meet cute conversation kind of. And then she's like, will you come back tomorrow? And he's like, yeah. And then he just leaves.
We cut to her in the Crimson Peak bathroom, kind of thinking about the interaction.
It's because of that big ass copper tub.
And the dark tile.
Yeah. When I saw it, I was like, that does look kind of comfy.
It does. I would love a clawfoot tub like that.
Yeah.
And then he's gambling again. He comes back to the van the next day, clearly hungover, and decides to go in for the second day. But this is where she tries to find his instrument, which I don't know why she didn't guess piano first.
There's a piano already in the back of the room, and they bring in like 9 other instruments. Although I really did love like James McAvoy just yes-anding the bit
Yes.
of genuinely playing whatever instrument she asked him to the best of his ability, which if you don't know how to play an instrument is trash.
Sure.
And like singing You Are My Sunshine, I think is what it was.
You Are My Sunshine, yeah.
It was honestly like really endearing. I loved it.
I love it. It's so fun.
Instead of just being like, I can play the piano a little bit. You know, like he made it way more fun for everybody.
He did, but she never guesses piano. And I'm like, piano is like the most commonly played instrument. Like,
Yeah.
so many, throw a rock, you will hit somebody that plays piano. Like, what are we doing here?
Yeah.
But they like talk, they play chess, they hang out. He's telling her about the things that he likes to do outside, and she's never experienced it. And he kind of has this realization that he's taking his life for granted because through her eyes, it's all magical. She's never seen it before. And we cut to the next day where he is late to the van because he spent some time sitting in the park, which he hadn't done in a long time.
Yeah.
And he then goes to the van, and Edward is being awful about, he's like, she's so grotesque, all this stuff. And at this point, Max / we will find out as Johnny
Yeah.
is like, no, she is a beautiful, fun person that I actually really enjoy. And this is when he like clamps his hand over his mouth and Edward just like licks his hand. Don't lick Max.
I thought that was very funny. It did make me laugh. Edward is doing this though because he is financially incentivized to paint her as the biggest villain as he can, because then it makes his blow up or whatever, what happened in the paper earlier, seem more understandable.
Right. Anyway, he goes back in for the third day and he starts playing piano because she's like, I think I know your instrument. I think it's piano. He starts playing. He's struggling. He is out of practice. But then he feels a hand guiding one of his hands to the right notes because she has come out. And as he sees her, he kind of is taken aback for a bit, but then he doesn't run. And he just kind of like lets it acclimate. And then he reaches out to probably try and touch her nose. But as he reaches up his hand, the camera goes off.
Yeah. And I think she hears it because we audibly hear it, right? So I assume she heard it too.
I don't know that she does.
Yeah. Either way, she freaks out and she runs out of the room.
It's because he recoils. Because I think he hears the camera and is like, oh, fuck, no. Like, I don't want to betray her in that way. And he kind of recoils and then she runs.
Yeah, I mean, and he does definitely destroy the camera so they can't use that photo later, and they never
Right.
use it. So clearly
Right.
he didn't want to take that photo in that moment. So I think you might be right. Yeah.
Yeah. And everyone's like, no, Penelope, you ran this time. He didn't run. And she's just like, but it hurts so much more, I think, because she really liked him. And
Yeah.
he didn't run and it was different. But her mom is like, well, just keep trying. And she's like, I can't keep doing this forever. I can't. I want to go out and see things and have a life and not do this. And oh my God, because he does destroy the camera and then he comes back.
Yeah.
And I think he was just going to tell her like, hey, I'm not a blue blood. I can't help you. But she's like, please just marry me because then the curse will be broken. And he's like, well, what if it can't be broken? She's like, I'll kill myself, I promise. And you're like, oh my God, no.
I know. It's terrible.
It's awful. But he knows he can't break the curse.
Yeah. Well, that's why he says, I can't help you. But if he had just said that,
Right.
hey, I would love to marry you as is, but
Right.
your nose will stay the same. And then like if it did and they just got married, I'd be cool with that. You know what I'm saying?
Same.
Yeah.
But then the movie would be over 30 minutes in. But,
Yeah. Fair.
you know, anyway,
Then it's a CW episode.
then it's a CW episode.
Yeah.
He goes and gambles because he feels terrible. Meanwhile, Penelope sneaks out. And as her parents are having a conversation that I think is really interesting of like, we've spent all this time preparing her for when this changes. How have we never prepared her for when it doesn't?
Yeah.
Right? When things stay the same, which is absolute, like in my life, the version of this is like people always like prepare for when they'll be skinny. Like I'm going to live my life after I lose weight as opposed to like, hey, sometimes it don't happen, right? Like diets have like a 96% fail rate, right? So like
Yeah.
you gotta find ways to be happy where you're at, right? Don't stop living your life because of some future you that may never happen. You have to be happy with you somehow, or at least neutral with you, and find a way to kind of get through life and not let it hold you back if possible. Anyway, so Penelope runs away. And we do get a cool New York shot as she pushes the gate open that's clearly like a miniature.
It's very cool though. Yeah, but it like looks up on like the worlds, right? And it's like
Yes.
layer on layer of tall building up to skyscraper, and it's just very pretty.
Yes.
When she did that, and then we get the reverse shot, and it's just like forest trees behind her, I was like, that's not her house.
No.
Like, this is a full-ass different place.
But who cares?
It's beautiful. Yeah, exactly.
Yes. So she goes out into the world. Her parents are about to call the police, but I love her mom. Like, what if they find her? Like,
Yeah.
yeah. You care less about her safety than you do about appearances.
It's very clear the entire movie. Yeah, it's very sad.
But she goes to the street fair. She finds a hotel to stay at where she has stolen her mom's credit card, and that's how she is staying there.
Well, and ultimately tracked to there.
Right. But James McAvoy is gambling, and the dealer goes home. Another dealer comes in, then the other dealer comes back, and he's like, I thought you went home. And he's like, yeah, I did. I went home. I slept. I'm back at work. And he's like, oh, God, like, are you in or out of this hand? And he's like, no, I got to leave. Like,
Yeah.
He leaves. We cut to the morning paper where Edward has basically had a drawing of Penelope done with fangs or whatever and takes it to his father and is like, see, I was right. And he's like, how does this help you at all? Like, this is no.
This makes you look more crazy. Like,
Absolutely.
Stop it all, please.
But along with the drawing is, have you seen this pig? $5,000 for photos, which Penelope sees and kind of hangs on to that information just in case.
Yeah, she's very sad at first, but
Yeah.
yeah.
Meanwhile, her parents her parents call the cops and find out that their credit cards are missing. So they track to the hotel. She now needs to find a place to be or find a way to live on her own. So she agrees to sell photos of herself.
Yeah.
And goes to a photo booth. And they're cute. They're just her smiling or whatever. And she gives the photos to Peter Dinklage by like lowering them off the building or whatever.
Yeah.
And Peter Dinklage, after seeing the photos, is like, maybe we don't need to put this girl in this. She's just a girl. Like
Yeah.
she doesn't have fangs. She's not a grotesque monster. It's nothing. It's just a girl who has a different nose. And what would this do to her? But it doesn't matter. Edward takes the photos and he has it published.
Yeah.
So now it's in the paper. Everybody knows about it. She goes to the Cloverdilly pub, which was the pub that Max mentioned, where he's like, if you haven't had a beer on draft, you haven't had a beer.
I think she's going here to find him.
Maybe. I think she thought maybe he would be there. I read it as she's doing all the things that they talked about that she thought were interesting that she's never had a chance to do before.
Yeah.
But that's the list she's starting with, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And she does have a scarf on.
Well, and it covers her nose. She's wearing like the scarf like a balaclava.
Right, which means she has to drink beer out of straws. Gross. Ugh.
And probably a warm beer because this was shot in London.
I mean, yeah, possibly. But either way, beer out of straws is bad. It's not a straw drink.
I don't know. I've never, yeah.
Shouldn't. Bad in straws.
I believe you.
So she drinks a bunch of them. She drinks enough of them to put her under the fucking table for somebody who is not a like regular drinker.
Yeah, this is probably not her first alcohol, but her first beer, we learn. And it's like, she drinks 3 of them, I think.
No, there's like 5 on the table. I was like, girl.
She might be dying. Yeah, that's a lot of alcohol for a small little lady.
She's not dying, but she would be drunk for sure.
Yeah.
And she kind of is. She's a little tipsy. And this is where we meet Vespa messenger Reese Witherspoon, who is in this movie for all of 3 scenes. The pacing on this movie is a little weird. Introducing air quotes main characters at this point in your story. Strange.
Well, but she produced the movie, so she's definitely going to be in it.
Yes, and that's why. That's why she's in it.
Yeah.
I think if I were rewriting this, I would compact that first act and have more time with Penelope like in the city finding herself.
Yeah.
But whatever. Reese Witherspoon is like, why do you have the scarf? Is it a bad nose job? And she's like, yes, bad nose job. And Reese Witherspoon is like, yeah, I've been thinking about getting a little something done myself. Like, I'm no Penelope, and the fact that she still remains friends with her after that is crazy to me.
Right?
Because if somebody was like, look, I'm no Paige Wesley, I'd be like, go fuck yourself, right? Like, whatever. But she's never ridden on a Vespa before. And then we get kind of like a montage of them experiencing the city together with their scarf up the whole time.
Yeah.
We then cut to an unfortunate Russell Brand cameo where James McAvoy is meeting up with someone who I think he used to play with, but had a bunch of no-shows. And he basically is like, look, I messed up and I didn't appreciate a good thing when I had it.
Yeah.
And he's like, yeah, you fucking did. So we don't really see it. Kind of happens off screen, but it's implied that James McAvoy goes on a bit of a journey to try and recapture the good things he had before gambling took over his life.
Yeah, which is very clearly what has happened to his character, because he is very, it's like positioned that he gambles until he has no chips left. So it's not a matter
Right.
of like he's trying to win money. He just like is addicted to that thing.
Dopamine hit.
Yeah. And so he won't stop until he's out.
Right. But during her, experiencing New York montage, her parents see her, she runs, she slips and falls, the scarf falls off, and everyone realizes it's been her the whole time, and she's just out and about. We then cut to Penelope wakes up in the emergency room, and there's tons of cameras and everyone around, but they're not running. They're interested in her, but they're not
Right.
scared of her, right?
Yeah.
But she and her parents leave the hospital, and her mom is like, just get in the car, like, come with us, come back to the house, we'll start interviewing new men. And she's like, no, I gotta be on my own.
Yeah.
So her dad, who I love, gives her money and is like, have a good time, bye. And we get another montage of like, the public kind of loves her. She's like a fun character
Yeah.
in their life.
I mean, she's not a hideous monster, and she's like a
Right.
sweet 25-year-old lady. Yeah.
Right. And she does run into Max/Johnny at the pub. And I think he was probably going to try and tell her what happened,
Yeah, I think so too.
but he doesn't. They part ways. She's got to go. He's got to go. Everyone kind of chickens out. And her mom shows up and is like, you need to come home right now. She comes home and Edward Vandermeer decides that he's going to fix his bad press because, of course, he put that pig story out and then put the pictures out and people are like, she's sweet. Like, what's wrong with you? You're the villain for trying to villainize this girl.
Yeah.
And he decides
is.
Yeah, absolutely. The best way to counter that is to marry her. And her mom is like, he's a blue blood. He'll marry you. It's your chance at a normal life. And because there's not a relationship with Max/Johnny, Penelope says yes.
Yeah, because she, I think, does still want to lose the nose at this point. She hasn't had the self-acceptance moment that will, like, actually solve the curse. So, like, this made sense to me, although it made me sad.
Yeah. Well, and I kind of love that Peter Dinklage is furious and he's like, I got to tell people what is actually happening.
Yeah.
Like, I got you. But before that, the other journalist is like, hey, I'm working on that Max Campion story. He was like a blue blood, but then armed robbery. And he's like, armed robbery? And he's like, yeah, he's already confessed. So Peter Dinklage goes to meet him in prison. But who is it? Nick Frost.
Yeah.
Nick Frost has been Max Campion the entire time. That means that James McAvoy, a.k.a. Johnny, is not a blue blood at all. And he couldn't have fixed the curse with Penelope, which is why he said no.
Right. Well, you say that, but like nobody could have solved the curse.
Yes. And I do think that's the point of the curse. And although her mom implies that she could have by accepting her, and maybe that's true.
I think her mom implies that she could have by teaching her to love her for who she is, so that she loved herself
Yes.
for who she was. Not that like, well, I mean, I think those things are actually
One and the same, kind of.
supporting each other. Yeah, I think if
Yeah.
her mom did love her for who she was, Christina Ricci's character, Penelope, would also love her for who she is. You know what I'm saying?
Right?
So I don't think she's wrong there. I just think it's more about Christina Ricci
Yeah.
as a character. Yeah.
Well, and we have like a scene of them all kind of out as a family, like her parents, his parents, and her and Edward. And Johnny confronts them and confronts Edward in a bathroom and is like, what are you doing? And he's like, I couldn't solve the curse for her, but like you said all of these cruel things about her.
Yeah.
This is incredibly horrible. Why would you marry her? Like, don't do this to her. And he's like, oh, who's going to hurt her worse? Me, the person who still gags at the thought of kissing her, or you telling her that? Like,
Well, but he's saying it like he does say that incredibly mean, terrible thing.
yes.
But he says it in the sense of like, but I'm still willing to marry her and give her what she
Right.
wants, which is what she wants.
says she wants, yeah.
Yes, maybe says she wants is the better version of it. I would say it's what she's programmed to want. I don't think it's what she actually wants.
Right.
I think she's just living out that like Tupperware container she was born into and she has not yet graduated out of it.
Right.
But she's going to on their wedding day. Good news, Edward.
Yes.
You're going to get left at the altar just like everybody else in Love is Blind. But
Yep.
ultimately, it's not about you, Edward. Calm down. And I don't think Edward would have cared either way with or without the pig nose. I don't think he's into her at all.
I don't think he's into her at all. Yeah.
Yeah.
But we then cut to the day of the wedding, and Peter Dinklage shows up and is like, hey guys, you need to know that the guy that she actually had feelings for couldn't give her what she thought she wanted. And that's why he said no. That's why he ran from her.
Yeah.
And her mom is like, good.
He did a good thing. Great.
He did a good thing, which is not good, but like.
Right. But from her point of view, it definitely is.
Right. And Peter Dinklage is kind of arguing like, she's fine the way she is. What if she wants to stay that way?
Yeah.
Because she loves this other person.
I really like that Peter Dinklage plays characters that don't hinge on the height of the character involved.
Correct.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And that you can tell that in the script, because at the beginning of this movie, when he's just like a reporter trying to get a scoop on a story about a weird looking kid, you know what I'm saying? And then in that interaction, a mother defending her weird looking kid daughter, he loses an eye, and over the course of the 25 years since then has had to learn to love himself for the lack of an eye.
Yeah.
I kind of love this arc for his character quite a bit. I thought it was great. And I also really love that, like, when he got the pictures of her, he felt, okay, I'm not crazy. I feel like I'm validated. I don't need to destroy this person's life.
Right.
I ultimately got what I wanted. I know I'm not crazy. And then from then on out, he fully is just protecting her. And I love that about his character.
Yeah. Oh, he's team Penelope 100%.
Yeah.
And the wedding proceeds. Johnny is in the park. He's not there. He doesn't ruin the wedding. None of that happens. Because what happens is that Edward says yes, and then Penelope says no.
Yeah, it's brutal. They always let the person who's definitely going to say yes speak first so that the other person gets to break their heart for all of our enjoyment.
I mean, love is blind every time.
The Lacheys are sociopaths when it comes to their TV premises, man. It's brutal.
It's nuts. But she runs away. She goes to her bedroom. And this is where her mom is like, what? You could have had a whole new you. And she's like, I don't want a whole new me. I like me the way I am. Boom.
Yeah.
She is accepted by one of her own, which means that she now is just regular Christina Ricci with her Christina Ricci nose.
Right.
And we then cut to kind of a montage where people are like, the wedding doesn't happen. She vanishes. She stays basically in the house. She's not outside.
This is in that, like, 6 months between filming the final episode of Love is Blind until the reunion of Living, where people actually fall in love.
Right.
But Paige, before we get to that 6-month period for her, can I ask, do you think it was necessary of the curse to legit knock Penelope on her ass?
No.
To, like, get rid of the nose? It seems like the witch or the warlock or whatever it is that's like the butler in this movie that is causing all of this, like, had just had it with the family and was taking it out on them in the curse being lifted. It was so funny to me that, like, it knocks her off her feet onto her back when that happens. I was like, God, that's crazy.
Rough. In a corset, no less. And then it has to try and get back up. It's like a whole thing.
I'm going to punch that pig nose off your face, Penelope.
All right. But this is also the scene where we get a scene with her mom who's like, if I could have broken this curse years ago just by being a mom and accepting you.
Yeah.
But also, what if we got a little bit of a nose job? And it's like, oh,
it's the biggest eye roll. You're like, oh, God, learn a lesson. Older generation, please.
Yes.
Learn one lesson, please.
Well, and this is also where we get like, she's like, I get my mom was going through a lot of changes at the same time, but like also turns out Jake the butler was the witch in disguise and curses the mom so she can no longer speak.
Which, if you look, when she loses her voice in this like sort of ending Return of the King montage that they do for this movie to give everyone's story a button, they like show her not being able to scream and like hugging her husband because she's sad. And he's kind of smiling a little bit.
Yes.
Which I think we as characters get to enjoy quite a bit. And I really loved that.
So much. And we get a little like newspaper montage where it's like the world moved on. And one of them is just Gorilla Boy found in laundry, which I was like, where's that movie? Give me that one.
Welcome to Penelope 2, Gorilla Boy.
Gorilla Boy. But we cut to her becoming a teacher, teaching about plants.
Yeah.
But Halloween comes up and all of the little girls are dressed as Penelope, except for the one girl who's like, everyone's dressed as Penelope and I'm stupid static cling, which is probably one of my favorite lines in the movie.
As someone who grew up really poor and all of my costumes that I wore to school had to be things we could make around the house, I felt very seen by this character, but I loved the costume. I thought it was
The
great,
costume's
honestly.
hilarious.
Even the windswept wig or whatever they have
Yes.
is so good. It was like adorable.
And then she's just got socks all
Yes.
over her. I'm like,
Yeah.
yes.
Just like pinned to her clothes, like
yes.
it's perfect.
I'm stupid static cling.
They have the most ingenuitive parents, I'll say that. Like
100%.
that has nothing to do with how much money do I have to be able to buy a mask. Like they just figured it out in a great punny way and I love it.
Yeah. Anyway, poor static cling.
I know.
But we cut to a Halloween party that night where Reese Witherspoon is taking her, and we find out that it's near Johnny's apartment, like it's his complex or whatever.
Yeah, it's almost like he lives at this like venue kind of.
Kind of, yeah.
Because there's that stage and they walk over to his door that has like apartment numbers on it. It's very confusing, but I don't care. It's like the movie's not about where Johnny lives,
Right.
So like
right.
it didn't bother me.
And she is wearing a Penelope mask.
Right.
But she asks to come in and use the bathroom. And as she's kind of talking to him, I think he gets the sense that it might actually be her.
God, I hope so. Because if
I
not,
know.
he's got a type and it's not the way Christina Ricci looks right now.
Right. Right.
Because if he's just like looking for ladies with pig noses to smooch, we're in trouble at the end of this movie.
Potentially.
So yeah, I definitely think he knows it's her when she comes out of the bathroom.
Yes.
I did think it was funny though, because she doesn't ask to go to the bathroom. Reese Witherspoon walks her to the door, and then as he answers the door, she's like, hey, my friend's got to pee. Can she use your bathroom? I'm going to go get drinks. Goodbye.
Bye.
It was the best like wing woman ever, and she's dressed as a bee.
Yep.
I thought that was funny.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
It's because she has a honey pot.
Boom. Nailed it.
Boom.
Yeah.
Anyway, he basically tells her all day I've been seeing like little Penelopes and it just makes me miss her. Like I cared for her a lot.
And one really cute static cling.
And one really cute static cling.
Yeah.
So they end up making out with the pig mask on and then she
Yeah.
takes the mask off.
Oh man, Paige, when he threw up in that trash can and was like, get out, you're hideous. I felt
Gross.
so bad for her. Yeah, I felt so bad. No, I mean, it is very much like, oh, that's here you are, Peter, kind of a moment.
Here you are, Peter.
But it is clear. Like I do love that this scene makes it very clear he loved her before and after the note.
Yes,
like it's not
of
about
course.
that for him. He's not shallow like Edward.
Right? Also, I haven't watched Hook since Robin Williams died.
Me either, Paige.
I don't know if I can.
I know that one is going to affect me. And this is going to be the nerdiest reason why. But my junior year in high school, my winter drumline performed a lot of songs from that soundtrack even. So not only is it like nostalgic and I love Robin Williams in that movie and it's like such a
Sure.
sweet movie, but also that nostalgia of having performed a lot of those like the score of that movie.
Yeah, the score of that movie is beautiful.
It slaps. Yeah, it's great.
It slaps. But they make out, and then we cut to sometime in the future where they're like telling her class of kids, like, and then we lived happily ever after so far. So what's the point of this? And then they go like round robin, and the kids are like, one's like, rich people suck. It's always the mother's fault. The curse is only the power you give the curse. And it's like, but that kid has like a terrifying stare. Just like dead behind the eyes. Real upsetting.
It's the stare of a child who's like 85 inside and knows he's
Yes.
right. It looks like that.
Yes. But they are all happy. They go on the swings and Peter Dinklage takes a picture of them on the swings. And that's the movie.
I did love watching Peter Dinklage canoe out in the smallest dinghy I've ever seen and like go to take the photo and like see them happy and then not take the photo, honestly. He's like,
Yeah.
they're just living their life, man. I don't need to like exploit that or like whatever, let's let them live their life. And I really thought that was a cute way to like, hey, this is where their story's ending and we're going to stop paying attention to it because, it's no longer a circus and they're just going to live that life. I kind of loved it for like an
Yeah.
ending point of a movie and like a message to tell the audience. I thought it was great. Anyway, Paige, what did you think about Penelope?
I thought it held up surprisingly, and I liked it a lot.
Yeah, I really enjoyed it. It's a very kind of fun that I'm into and also campy. Like it's a little silly premise where people take it seriously and it's fun. Yeah.
Yeah.
I like it a lot. It also has a lot of like morality that I jive with.
Yes.
Like a lot of rich people are terrible. Although I think her dad is a great example of someone who's rich and not terrible.
Right.
So it's not saying all of them are, but like the wealth class like does bend towards evil because they don't have as many restrictions and checks on their power as poor people. So like that happens sometimes. And I like that this movie points it out. And so like I also like that it points out that like it doesn't really matter what her nose looks like. She's a valuable person who's worth being with.
Yes.
And so like I'm here for all of that too. So I really did kind of dig this movie. I understand why Natalie loves it and owns it. And, you know, I'll probably watch it again.
Of course.
It's great.
Yes.
Anyway, Paige, do you have any fun facts for us?
I do.
Well, hit us with your fun facts. Pig nose, fun facts.
Christina Ricci did not have to audition for this role. Reese Witherspoon approached her directly, so there were no other potentials. She just said yes, and that was it.
I could see that. Yeah. I mean, and she's great.
Yeah.
And she was already established at the time. It wasn't like she was a nobody.
Right. Oh, yeah. She'd been Wednesday Addams years before this.
Sure.
Reese Witherspoon's first project as leading producer is this movie.
Yeah.
And this is also Mark Polanski's feature film directorial debut. I think he does a great job. It's a good movie. This was largely, as you mentioned, filmed in the UK, which means that almost everyone is actually British and pretending to be American, which is kind of fun.
Yeah.
With the exception of Christina Ricci and Reese Witherspoon.
Yeah.
Everybody else, and Catherine O'Hara and whatever, almost everybody else is British.
Yeah.
The prosthetic nose took an hour and a half to put on every day.
Oh man, that's a while.
That's a while. Penelope's favorite novel in the movie is The Dreamer by George Rockham, who is a wholly fictional person in fictional book.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. This was delivered to some theaters under the code name Scarfy, which is what Reese Witherspoon calls her when she's got the scarf up.
Yeah. She says it in the bar.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In the scene where she's talking about all the first editions and what they're worth, she mentions that the room has 300 first editions worth over $50,000, which means it would come to a minimum of $15 million, which coincidentally is allegedly what this movie costs.
I was going to say that. That is the budget I have for this movie, although I only got that from Wikipedia. There aren't many sources on it. So just know it's not 100% firm, but around there.
Yeah. This was released in the US and the UK 2 years after they made it. So like they made the movie, it was produced, shot, and then sat on a shelf, I believe, until either James McAvoy had another movie coming out or Reese Witherspoon did, and they piggybacked it the way that a lot of studios do.
Yeah.
This is the first film Russell Brand ever shot. So this actually predates Forgetting Sarah Marshall and a few others.
That doesn't surprise me, actually, because this is right around the time he started to rise before he started to fall.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. So James McAvoy and Peter Dinklage have both gone on to play Cyrano de Bergerac in different adaptations. James McAvoy played the character for the National Theatre, while Peter Dinklage took on the role in the movie Cyrano. And coincidentally, that character is known to have a disproportionate nose, which is also the issue with Penelope.
Yeah.
I'll end on this one. This movie contains 3 Game of Thrones alums. So Richard E. Grant, who plays Eisenbarrow, Peter Dinklage, who plays Tyrion Lannister, and then Bern Gorman, who plays Carl Tanner. And those are your fun facts.
I have a different fun fact just because when you mentioned the name of the director, wanted to quickly do a Google, and no, he's not related to that Polanski. It's spelled differently.
It is spelled differently, yes.
But Paige, thank you for those fun facts. Let's talk a little bit about box office, although you mentioned it already. The $15 million budget is the budget that I found. And again, on Wikipedia, there wasn't other sources. Like I usually find it on like Box Office Mojo and The Numbers, which is another website that tracks this kind of stuff. And if I can cross-reference it, then I feel good about it being that budget. But I only saw this one on Wikipedia just to give you kind of a peek behind the curtain in the process. But this movie did premiere 2 years after it was shot, sort of like what Paige was saying, on February 29th, 2008. It was 9th in the box office that weekend. It was beat by the number 1 movie, Semi-Pro, number 2, Vintage Point, number 3, The Spiderwick Chronicles, number 4 was The Other Boleyn Girl, and number 5 was Jumper, which was probably what I was seeing around that time.
Oh, Jumper's a bonkers bad movie.
And I still like that movie. Y'all can eat it.
No, that movie's terrible.
I don't think it's great. I'll give you that. It's my kind of bad. But Paige, also in theaters is Fool's Gold, a movie we've done.
Yes.
No Country for Old Men, a movie we should do for Horror Virgin. and Juno, which was...
I was seeing Juno when this came out, almost guaranteed.
you probably saw it weeks before this because it had been out 13 weeks and was still at number 11. Penelope, though, what do you think it made in its opening weekend when it was 9th in the theaters?
I'm going to say this makes $2 million.
You're actually close, but it's good for Penelope. They actually made 3.8 in its opening weekend.
Okay.
Which 9th, still making 3.8, that's pretty good. So like
That's pretty good. That's
Yeah.
a good weekend.
Yeah, they definitely could have done worse. It wasn't in a nationwide release, although it was in just over, or actually almost 1,200 theaters. Although nationwide is closer to almost 3,500 probably at this point. So it was like maybe a third of theaters. Anyway, I don't think it was marketed all that much.
Yeah.
But it was in the theaters for a total of 14 weeks. It was never again in the top 10. And it kind of bounced around a little bit. And, the theater count dropped pretty significantly pretty quickly. But what do you think it eventually brought in domestically at the box office?
Domestically, I'm going to guess that this brings in about $9.8 million.
Oh, you're very close. It was actually $10 million, just over $10 million domestically. But it did bring in $11.3 million internationally. So it did make $21.3 million total worldwide at the box office, which is a little bit more than the budget. But if you factor in some marketing, because normally if it's like marketed pretty heavily, it's usually twice the movie budget. And this definitely didn't get there. But if you factor in the domestic DVD and Blu-ray sales that are tracked, it definitely made at least $10.6 million more in that market. So it definitely did pass that $30 million mark with that. And I'm sure it's made more money since then just because of streaming rights and people continuing to buy DVDs or whatever. So I'm sure it's made money, but it didn't make a ton at the time. But that is your box office. Paige, you want to hit us with that romance scale?
Sure. Our romance scale is a scale of how romantic we found the film today. Todd.
It's a 1 to 4, and I'm going to give it a 1. But here, can I explain why?
Of course.
I kind of feel like the movie is more of like a coming of age kind of for Penelope and not their falling in love story. Although we do get some of that, and I do think that they're cute together. But it's really just the one scene of her watching him play all the instruments and them playing chess. And there's not much after that because it montages the 6 months where we would get them falling in love,
Right.
So anyway, I'm going to give it a 1, but I like it.
Yeah, of course. I'm going to give it probably a 2.
That's fair. They do have some chemistry. It's just not as much as I want.
Yeah. If I were to rewrite the movie and compact the beginning and give her more time out in the world, I'd probably have them fall in love out in the world.
Yeah. Honestly, make Reese Witherspoon and the bartender of the bar that James McAvoy clearly likes all friends with James McAvoy.
Right.
And then just have them going on a bunch of double dates, or not double dates necessarily, but group outings where they're all together where we get to know all these people.
I would do it enemies to lovers because he ran away and she's like, well, you don't like me at all.
True. Yeah, we could do that too.
And it's kind of a he fell first, she falls harder kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's where I'd put it.
That's fair.
And that's your romance scale.
Yeah. So this week, Paige, you made us watch Penelope. I think next week, I'm going to start us off the Christmas season right with the movie we should have done in 2024 when it came out, I assume, because it involves Lindsay Lohan in a Netflix Christmas movie where I think her ex is now dating her sister and shows up to Christmas in the movie Our Little Secret from 2024. So that's going to be your homework for next week. I'm kind of terrified to watch it based upon the description, but I think it'll be crazy. So that's your homework.
Do you have any reviews for us, Todd?
I do. This week, I'm going to read a comment from our most recent The Wrong Paris episode. And there's a few, one of which says, please do the Phantom of the Opera, which I'm not sure if we talked about that or if that's just us getting a really, really strong recommendation.
Well, it is horror daddy Patrick Wilson.
Oh, that may be why we talked about it, I guess. I don't remember. But I think I should read this one from Alicia, who says, couple of fun facts. Madison Pettis, Lachey, is from Texas. Remember how we were saying that she sounds like no Southerner I have ever met?
Well, we accused her of being from Texas, oddly enough, I believe.
Oh, did we? I don't remember that. I thought she was from Vancouver.
I said she sounded like the girl from the Alamo Dome.
Oh, that's right. But apparently she's from Texas. I'm continuing on with the comment from Alicia. And is the child from The Game Plan. Also, I took 2 classes online through Academy of Art for fashion design. And just from my drawing class, I can confirm they will let anyone in.
Yep.
Which is something you said on the episode page. So I thought you should know. Alicia agrees.
Yes.
But if you want to have me read your Spotify comment or 5-star Apple review, leave us one of those things and I'll do just that. So yeah, if you guys like this show and want to hear our other show where we talk about horror movies, that is The Horror Virgin. That's the only other podcast I am on, but Paige is also on Cult Podcast, which you can find at Cult Podcast. And you can find us on social media. I am at Todd J. Awesome, literally everywhere. Paige is at Paige Wesley on Instagram.
No, it's at Rampage Wesley on Instagram and TikTok, at Paige Wesley on Twitter.
That's right. All right. So that's where you can find Paige. If you want to find the show, we are at Romancing the Pod Show, right?
Yep, Romancing Pod Show on Twitter.
Well, and Instagram, right?
And Instagram, but it's show SHO because character limits. If you start typing Romancing the Pod, it'll come up.
It'll definitely come up on Instagram. I don't know about Twitter because I haven't posted on Twitter in a hot ass minute. So like, who knows? But that is where you can find more of us. So yeah, guys, give us a follow. Support the show any way you can. We'd love it.
Smash that like button.
Hell yeah.
And that's going to be it for us, you guys. I'm Paige.
And I'm Todd.
And you complete us.
To oinkpletion. Bye. Oink like me, nerds.
La 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 la.